c'est l'heure de la jeunesse. Suivons la voie de la sagesse qui nous appelle, qui nous invite à l'union.
Fellow Cameroonians, I'm Jacques Bouhga Hagbe, a Cameroonian economist and candidate in the upcoming presidential election in October 2025 in Cameroon. In this video message, I continue to share my proposals on the institutions of our country, and I talk about crimes committed in foreign territories, autonomous local administrations, and the financing of public life in Cameroon. I believe that the constitution of our country will have to give the Cameroonian justice system the power to take up cases of crimes committed in foreign territories by Cameroonians or persons residing in Cameroon. This will allow the Cameroonian state to avoid certain sensitive extraditions while fulfilling its duty to promote justice and human rights throughout the world. In this case, it will have to apply international law or the law of the territory where the crime was committed. The accused person will have to be in a territory under Cameroonian jurisdiction. Lawyers accredited in the territory where the crime was committed will be allowed to plead before a Cameroonian court, but the sentencing judges will remain Cameroonians. The said sentences will be those prescribed by the legislation in force, with the exception of the death penalty. Given the diplomatic difficulties, these constitutional provisions will not apply to sitting heads of states and government. As for autonomous local administrations, I think that the Cameroonian constitutions will clearly have to establish that the only autonomous local administrations are those set up by municipal councils. I believe that Cameroon should avoid the economic distortions caused by double taxation. The constitution will therefore prohibit the establishment of any local tax throughout the national territory. In Cameroon, there will be a single national tax system, and taxes will be collected by the central government. However, the constitution will require that the government allocate a certain level of resources to municipalities, which will have to draw up their budgets under the conditions set by the central government. Each municipality will have to receive an identical fixed portion for its minimum functioning and a variable portion proportional to the number of its inhabitants. Municipalities will also be able to receive donations from individuals. The Cameroonian constitution will prohibit municipalities from incurring debt, as these debts could later become a burden for the central government. Municipalities will be required to accumulate savings over several fiscal years, allowing them to carry out major projects of their choosing. No municipality will be allowed to live above its means. Their accounts will be audited annually by the Court of Auditors. Let us now turn to the financing of public life. Politics must remain a matter of ideas, not money. I believe that for those political parties with elected representatives, the amount allocated by the state for their operations will have to depend on the number of their elected representatives. This public aid per elected official will be significantly higher, at least 25% of the normal rate for female elected officials from ethnic minorities designated in advance by the state, and elected officials under the age of 35. This will aim to encourage both greater participation of these categories of the population in the management of public affairs and the constant and sexually balanced renewal of generations in public life. Other sources of funding could exist, provided that certain constraints are imposed on them by law. Legal entities will be prohibited from intervening in political life, with the exception of the state, public interest associations, and legal political parties. The Constitution will also require each political party and candidate in any election to publish a monthly report describing the sources of his resources. This report will have to be prepared in a format prescribed by law and submitted to the Supreme Court, the body responsible for supervising elections. I believe that the most important element is not the financing of public life per se, but rather the transparency of political party management. I believe that each political party will have to publish detailed and certified accounts at the end of each financial year. I talk about other institutions in other video messages. We can strengthen our institutions and put them at the service of development. Do not be discouraged. Register to vote and do everything you can to vote in October. Join the Cameroon Movement on his website, cameroonmovement.net, and let us lead the fight for change peacefully but with determination. Your financial support remains crucial. It consists of making donations to the Cameroon Movement through the means available on his website. We'll need a lot of money to mobilize the Cameroonian people and monitor his vote for the liberation of Cameroon. Do not be afraid. Our only true political party is Cameroon. Do not be afraid. Long live free Cameroon. Long live free Africa. Thank you for your kind attention.
C'est la voix de la nation.